So then this is the service X92 from Birmingham to Ludlow, and this is introduced in the August holiday time, which is the summer holidays, the 6 weeks, and this is a Tuesday only service. There is another service from Birmingham done by Green Bus on a Thursdays, and that is the X94 from Birmingham to Cardiff Mill Valley, and it's the only service from Birmingham to Bridge-North, and even to Kinver as well, and even Ironbridge as well, even going from Halzone to Bridge-North and Ironbridge and Kinver. So it is really interesting. So we are just now going across Holloway area now. Now, as you probably know, I'm not doing the Birmingham area during this year, because as you know, we have been in a mess last year, which is of course the coronavirus. The coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19. And it has been a terrible mess, the COVID pandemic that we've all had to go through. But like we say, we are coming out of this mess, and we will get back to some kind of normality, which will possibly be towards the end of the year, or maybe towards next year, or who knows. But like I say, just don't worry about what's going on. Just always think about the YouTube channel, Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures. A big shout out to Jake, who loves watching. And keep watching, mate. Because I know you're going to enjoy all the videos that I upload. And of course, as you probably know, the X92 actually avoided West Hagley. But however, we can just do this as a special 192. All just went off the road for a bit. Birmingham to Hereford rediscovered, but so just avoiding West Hagley, because I don't think it went through West Hagley, because as you know, West Hagley was blocked off. So here we are, just heading out of Birmingham. So we're now in Quinton. So this is Quinton, Hagley Road West in Quinton, if you know the area Quinton really well. And we're now heading out of Quinton, and we're now coming into part of Albury, which is actually Halesowing. And this is also shared with a 231 service from Blackheath, and also the 202 from Bromsgrove. So here we are, we're now coming down towards so this is the bottom end. So we're now in Halesowing town centre, and then we're going to start the actual journey that will take us all the way into Ludlow. And then after that, we'll do the 192 Birmingham to Hereford rediscovered, but that will be a different version. It will actually be the Colmore Row one. So here we are at Halesowing bus station. So we have gone out, leaving Halesowing on the
X92. And this is the one for Ludlow, and also the rediscovery of the 192 from Birmingham to Hereford. So we're travelling on a Gemini. So just coming out of Hales Road right now. Claxton Pointer, Denny Stars, SLF on the service 4H towards Walsall, which is the diamond version of the 4H. So we are just going past the turn off that was once served by the original. Operated by National Express West Midlands, which is branded for the fours, the Walsall to West to Blackheath, and also the 4N, Walsall to Mary Hill on the 4H, Walsall to Hurley Green. There's even services from Worcester. Which service that covers that part of the route these days, as that end is being isolated. And on that run, there's a garden centre called Cherry Lane. It used to be known as Barnet Hill. So then, this is Blakedown right now, and of course 3 miles towards Kidderminster. So as you probably can tell, we're in traffic jam, and as you probably know, I have missed a few parts of the route on Blakedown area, but that is going to be done on the 192 video, which will come up very soon. So stay tuned on Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures. We're now moving. As you probably know, we were struggling a little bit, but however, as you know, we're come to some traffic jams, so I'll see you in a short while. Select device zone. Passing a Denny start on the 192 towards Hales Owen. The Denny starts on the 192 are all exposed, and we just crossed over the Oxford, Worcester and Wolverhampton Railway, now the Snow Hill line. So it's both exposed starts on the 192, and I've had them on the 192 before. I've even had them on the service oh yeah, 303 Worcester to Kidderminster. I've had them on the 303, the 42s, 43 that will soon be numbered the 52A, will go Princess of Wales Hospital to the Alexandra Hospital in Greenwich. So anyway, here we are just coming over to Kidderminster, and we will soon be crossing the Snow Hill line, and it will also be the interchange for the Severn Valley Railway from Kidderminster to Bridge North. Alright, we're now coming into Kidderminster Town Centre. Just in front we've got an ADL Enviro 200 on the number 10s, which was an ex-Central buses, because as you know, the Central buses used to operate in the Kidderminster area on the 125 from Stanbridge up into Bridge North. And they didn't just use ADL Enviro 200, so Opto Metro Cities, Versas, Darts. So here is Kidderminster Railway Station for Kidderminster, and the Severn Valley Railway as well, and there's Slingfield Mills. Unfortunately, we will not be serving the bus station on this journey. That is only the 292, because basically the tight lanes as well. So we are now going to be heading direct to Ludlow. So we're now heading for Ludlow. So there's Slingfield Mills. That was the Bradley Mills department store, and then it became Debenhams until they went bust during the so-called COVID pandemic, which we're in, but soon coming out of this terrible mess. And there's a Tesco Express, which used to be a Choices video shop. So there's a 192 Express start, just heading into the town of Kidderminster. Alright, we're now heading out of Kidderminster now, towards so we're now heading out to Kidderminster towards Ludlow. So there's the Dunelm, which used to be the Morrisons, the old Morrisons supermarket, right there. So we're now heading on to the Ring Road. So this is going to be the fast and direct service towards Ludlow now. the A451, and just round beyond these trees you'll actually see the Kidderminster B&Q store, which is well, was known as B&Q Warehouse. It's now B&Q Extra, but it's still classed as B&Q Warehouse because of the design of the store. The older B&Qs were just called B&Q Superstores. So there's the B&Q. So the B&Q is just right there, just behind these trees. So B&Q is right there. So here's the B&Q Kidderminster B&Q. And just right in front is, of course, the Diamond Kidderminster bus depot. So that's the Diamond Kidderminster bus depot, just right there. And we're now heading past the so-called Watermill pub. So here's the Watermill pub in Kidderminster. And now we're actually now covering what is currently served on the 42, the Redditch one, from Kidderminster. Well, heading to the General Hospital and then on to Redditch. So we're now going heading along the road that takes the run to Stourport, but however we're going to be turning right and then left up the Bewdley Hill by the Kiddie General Hospital. So there's the turn off point for the hospital in Kidderminster, but however we're not heading for the hospital, we're now heading for Stourport. So this route is a bit of a scenic detour, and we're actually doing a reversed version on the 292 when it comes from Ludlow into Kidderminster, because the 292 comes along this road, the Sutton Park Road, into Kidderminster and then goes past the General Hospital on return. So I assume that the X92 probably goes both ways. So I think the 192 went this way between Kidderminster, between the old Birmingham to Hereford. As we get to the top of this road, we're going to be turning off left and then heading past the West Midlands Safari Park. As you probably know, the West Midlands Safari Park is not only a park of animals, there's also an amusement site on there. There's rides as well. As you know, I've been to West Midlands Safari Park in my past and quite enjoyed it because I used to love all the different rides and attractions. So this is the top end of the Bewdley Hill, and we're now going to head past the West Midlands Safari Park. So we're just going past the safari park, and we're now heading for Bewdley, which is the Georgian town. Coming to Bewdley, the historic riverside town, and here's a turn off there for Leicester Airport and Tenbury and Ludlow. However, we're heading for Bewdley, so we're now going to head onto the B490 that's going to take us into Bewdley, and we're just coming through Rivenal, which is just up ahead. So we're just going past Casham's End, Chippy, and this is Casham's End, and there's Rivenal Estate over there, served by the number 8 from Rockland Range to Hales Park, and here comes the Church of Rivenal, the so-called Church Saints. Oh, well. So we're now going across Queensway. This is Bewdley on the riverside. And then of course you got the church that's right in the middle of the town. So as you know, Bewdley before the coronavirus actually suffered with severe flooding. Of course, at Bewdley you've got connections to the 296 to Worcester. So here we are. Alright, we're just now leaving Bewdley now. So as you probably know, Coniston used Mercedes motors. They had a coach, they even had Optare Solos, Optare Solo SRs, and since it was taken over by Astons, they use a coach, and of course mainly they use ADL Enviro 200, street lights, even the wheel forward street light, and of course an E300. So here we are coming out of Bewdley right now, and we're now going to turn off up this tighter road. So we're going to head on the A456, which heads over towards Tenbury area, but that will also take us onto Ludlow. Now as you know, these roads are very tight. Now as you probably remembered, Green Bus during the coronavirus introduced a service 242, which was the Maryhill to Kimber on the trial basis and only runs Stourbridge to Kimber. And they also introduced the 582 Kidderminster to Wolverhampton, which was a Saturday shopper service, and I did that in the Gemini, which was a bit like this one. And 242 I've been on the Tridents, Blackford Presidents, and even a Gemini. So I've had all sorts on the 242. Barnkill, and that is served by the number 8, and I'm so glad that Barnkill's now got a service once again, and Hales Park's that side, served by the number 8. The 8 on this area used to be the 2, and the 2 was suspended during the Corona pandemic, but however it was reinstated a year ago today, but that is now numbered the 8, and I did it a year ago tomorrow, well, in 2 days time. We're now at the roundabout at the Far Forest area, Countryside Show, which is coming up, but we're not yet at the Far Forest. That there is the Bewdley bypass, and that is only rarely used in case Bewdley gets flooded. And there's Wharton Park. So we're now heading onto the A456, which heads towards Lancaster, and that is covered in the 192 Birmingham to Hereford rediscovered. And of course, heading down this way is heading towards Temporary and Ludlow. So the routes that come down this route is this corridor is the one. So there's the running horse. Routes that come up and down this route is the 291 Kidderminster to Tenpin Wells, which used to be known as, which is now operated by it's now operated by Yarringtons. It used to be operated by R&B Travel, and also a small company called Hollands that used to do the nines, Kidderminster to Cunckley Circular, and they still do a service. And they still do a service. 220 Cloudstop to Clibberham Automat, which connects in between the both routes. And of course, and it all started off with first Midlands in Kidderminster, because as you know, first used to operate the Kidderminster depot before Diamond. And then the other route that comes up here mainly is of course the 292, which is the Kidderminster to Ludlow, which is once again back with Diamond since it started, since they took it over from R&B in 2020 before the coronavirus. And R&B had the 292 off Diamond when it was the 2L, when it used to go all around the estates. Coming up is the White Forest area. So this is how it gets its name, because of the forest here, run by the National Trust. So the 292, that is the one that, and of course Diamond also did the 292 originally under the original number when it started back in the Midland Red days, and of course Central Connect, which also was part of Diamond, also did the one on the 292. So this is the same route as the 292 towards Ludlow all the way now. So here's is the Clee Hills, which is right on the top, and here's the Bowling Green right here. So Far Forest and Clibberry, so it's 1 mile to the Far Forest and 4 miles to Clibberry Mortimer. And we're heading for Clibberry Mortimer right now. So here we are, going under the trees now. This is still under Worcestershire, but we will soon be heading into Shropshire. So here's the plough pub in the Far Forest. As you know, it's one of the best pubs today. And up ahead is the Clee Hills, which is ahead of us. which I assume is a campsite or supply site. Heads towards Worcester, but there's no service that goes across this way, and we're now at Morley Oak. Of course, we're by Morley Oak now. Just ahead of us is a wind turbine, electric windmill. However, there's no wind today, so no point of it being in operation. We'll also be passing the 292 at the Diamond version of the Ludlow, which is the main service to Ludlow from Kidderminster, which should be passing us anytime soon. So we're not far away from Clibber and Mortimer. Windmill's moving slightly. So turning off goes to the Pioneer Centre, and here is Clee Hills that's right up ahead. So we're not far away from the Clee Hills now, and we're not far away from Clibber and Mortimer. So we're nearly in Clibber and Mortimer, so we haven't got far to go. So we're doing Clibber and Mortimer, and then we'll be on to Ludlow. Weather today is a nice clear day. So we've got a nice clear day in Ludlow today over the Clee Hills, and then we'll head on towards Ludlow. So here we are, nearly arriving Clibber. So this is Clibber and Mortimer. So the gateway to Shropshire. Well, we're in Shropshire now. Which is the small village that heads in the direction towards Ludlow. And here there's pubs here in Clibber, and here's an old petrol station that's now been converted into a garage. And of course there's a bowling green, and of course loads of community services here, parish hall. And here's the church in Clibber Mortimer. So we're just now arrived in Clibber Mortimer, which is just outside of Ludlow. So here's the Royal Fountain Inn. And here's the pub, church, right here in Clibber. So then we're just now in Clibber right now. So this is Clibber Mortimer. And then we're going to head over the Clee Hills, and that will take us all the way into Ludlow. So it is really interesting to see two competing companies on this same corridor. Got Diamond, which is the main service, and of course you got Green Bus, which is this service that they put on during the holidays. And I'm really happy. Of course, Green Bus did do service work before, but mainly they do like works to the schools, the rail replacements and private hires. And they did do a tendered route last year, the 38, that's now the 42, West Heath to the QE. It used to just go Selly out to Northfield as well. So we're now waiting in Clibbery, so there should be a 292 service that's going to pass in a minute towards Kidderminster. So the 292 shall be passing us any minute now. So just going to pass the lamps, and of course there's a co-op here. Of course there is a school version of the 292 called the 292S. It used to be known as the 2S. Kidderminster to Clibbery Mortimer. So there was a school service of the 292. So there's the Clibbery Mortimer Medical Centre. And there's the sign for the Glen Cowan Park at Camerton. And as you know, we'll be nearly in Ludlow, and Ludlow has got connections to different destinations, and you've got destinations like you've got the town, the park and ride, you've got Shrewsbury on the 435, and of course you've got Hereford, well we've got Leicester, and then you can connect beyond Leicester to Hereford. Of course we've got Cardington, which is basically Cardinal. Well, of course you do have and you have different companies in Ludlow, like you've got Green Bus, which is doing this service for the time being, and of course you've got Diamond, you've got Along the Valley, you've got Minsterley, you've got Reba. Of course Reba do a service from Ludlow down to Knighton, which is on the border of Wales. There's some sheep just over here, because as you know there's sheep on the Clee Hills itself, and we're now heading for the Clee Hills right now. we're just now just gone over the one-way traffic system. As you know, there's a one-way traffic between across the Clee Hills, so it is making certain trips late, especially with the likes of the 292 Kidderminster to Ludlow, so there will be like a slight delay. And hang on, Wren's Nest, very interesting to see a random area located within Shropshire. Wren's Nest, you'd find that in Dudley on the 81s, 82s, 27, 27A. Very interesting. As you know, we're going slow because of all these roadworks, but we shall soon pick up speed when we get to the end. So here's the Clee Hill Church here. So here's the Earls Ditton. Now we're going over the cattle grid. So that was the cattle grid. So here's Clee Hills where all the sheep are.
So then we're just about to be stopped by a sheep that is just right up ahead.
So then we're just now climbing up to the top end of Clee Hill, so we've got one more steep climb, and we should soon be passing the 292 towards Kidderminster while we're heading into Ludlow, so we've got a few more climbs to make. So here we are climbing up now. just now passing the 292 towards Kidderminster. So then we're now heading down the slope. There used to be a service from Ludlow to Bridge North. It was called the 141. There was even a 143 here as well, and that was done by R&B. The 141 was also done by a Reaver one trip. And that was done by the Shrewsbury government. Not in use temporary traffic lights. going to be, I assume, Sainsbury's in Ludlow. But however, it is weird that it's not served by any other town mates. But maybe one day it might. Alright, so we just now arrived into Ludlow after a journey from Aylesowing, a historic journey as it was, the old Midlands Red West First service. So this journey has done a good mile an hour all the way from Giddy, and also a good journey from Aylesowing. Of course, here's the Catholic Church coming up, and of course you've got Ludlow Castle, which is in the centre of town. So you've got Ludlow Castle, you even got Ludlow Railway Station, the train station, which is on the Welsh Marches line, which gives connections to the likes of Shrewsbury, Manchester, Piccadilly, and also to Cardiff in South Wales. So welcome to Ludlow, guys. I hope you enjoyed the trip from Kidderminster and Aylesowing, and also the partial virtual one from Birmingham, and we will there will be another virtual one on the 192 rediscovered, but for the X92 it's the end of the journey. So just now descent, so now heading down to Ludlow town. So we're gonna go, I think we might just have to do a turn off because basically there's a low bridge ahead of us, if we can manage to get under it. Which is on the Welsh Marches line, because as you know the bridge is a bit low for double deckers. I'll see if we can get through. I'm sure we can get through the bridge. We're gonna get through. Yes! So here's Malvern tyres. So welcome to Ludlow, guys, once again. Course up ahead, and I think this when they first introduced the original 292, when it was out a bit. So here's the subway in Ludlow. So there's a subway that's, however, sadly it's out of town, means you have to walk along part of the 435. So we're now joined with the 435 that terminates here from Shrewsbury. So that way goes towards Shrewsbury, and of course we've got the South Shropshire Leisure Centre. And I've been past that on the 435. So welcome to the beautiful town of Ludlow. Church in Ludlow, the main church, right in the centre of town. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching this video. A big shout out to all my subscribers who love watching them. Keep watching, like I say, got more videos yet to come. And that brings the end to this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and the journey will continue beyond here, but starting from, I assume, at the assembly rooms area, which is just on the other side of town, and that will continue as a 490 down to Leicester, but that's done virtual. And then we've got the old 490 that'll take us into Hereford. Anyway, here we are. So here we are coming into Ludlow. co-op store there. It's now boarded up. So this is the old terminus at Packer Court, Lower Gardiford, part of Upper Gardiford. So this is Packer Court. We'll be terminating in the High Street. And down there is the coach park, where you'll find all the buses. You've got a Riva Optare Solo right there, parked up. So you've got a Riva Optare, and of course you've got the Minsley bus. So I think we'll be parking up at the coach area. So yep, here we are, that's it.
Where does that go then, Joe? 732?
732.
Yeah.
Not 722.
Yeah. Park and ride.
I think that's a park and ride. So anyway, that's it. End of the journey. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again for another Joe's Bus Train Plane Lift Adventures vlog. Until then, bye for now, and I'll see you again very soon.